Well, hello there, Vardians. How you doing? Happy New Year again. I hope you're well. This is your host and creator, Sena Kakpomo. I wanted to get on the mic here real quick before I introduce the guest and let you know a little bit of the format for the new season. As I mentioned in my intro to the year, we will have more and more of the guest speakers coming on, or guests on here, and less of me on the mic giving you facts. Again, because that's just what I'm seeing. The numbers show me you guys enjoy more. So I'll give you what you asked for. As far as a new format, I've decided to do a little quick pop quiz at the beginning of each of this type of episode, and telling you sort of I'll have the question. The format will be either multiple choice or true or false question. Once we get more comfortable with each other and with this format, maybe middle of the year type of thing, I might throw in some fill in the blank or short answer question just to get just to see what y'all are thinking and get the conversation going. But for now, we'll keep it nice and easy, multiple choice or true or false, okay? If you do get the question right, or if you feel like the answer I gave you is wrong, please reach out to me. You have all the social medias listed, including our new Facebook group. And let me know that you got it right, and I'll give you a shout out. And if I did get it wrong myself, I would not mind at all getting corrected. Just let me know where you're getting your source from, and we'll correct the whole community. Okay. So essentially, for these, you will hear my voice. I'll give you the question, and then I'll introduce the guest. When I'm done with the guest and we're done with our interview, I'll give you the answer. Okay, that will be the format for the new season moving forward. That being said, let's get into the question for today. Which of these countries have the highest number of chiropractors? Is it A, United Kingdom, B, United States of America, C, China, D, Canada, or E, Australia? Go ahead and enjoy the show, and when we are done, I will tell you the answer. Hey y'all, I hope you're well. Welcome to another episode of Healthcare Boulevard. This is a podcast where we shine more light on healthcare, and our goal here is to provide more options to people looking to choose healthcare as a career path, regardless of their background. My name is Sena Kakpomo, and I am your host and creator here. I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Remember, you can tune in on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. And today I'm here and I'm opening the year with an interview. I'm here with Dr. Valbron. Did I say that right? Okay. I'm here with Dr. Valbron, who is a lot of things, and a chiropractor is one of them. I'm going to have him introduce himself, and we'll take it away. Dr. Valbron, welcome.
Thank you for having me on your podcast, Healthcare Boulevard. Let me tell you, for all of you who are on here today, I just want to thank you guys for having me on, Sanan. I really did I say that properly?
Yes, Senna, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm happy to be here on this podcast. So to introduce myself is I'm not really sure what to say, but I do my best to try to be a lot of different things for the purpose. But one of the things that I can say of myself is that I'm trying to be the best community leader, the best community advocate, not just not just for my immediate community, but really the welfare of the masses. And so, I'm a healthcare provider, healthcare leader. I am someone who is in the classroom teaching. I am an individual who really tries to make sure that their patients get better. That is really the goal for me. And I say this to my students all the time. I say it all the time. Look, try to work yourself out of a job. Try to get people better. Try to get them healthier, faster, better, stronger, the whole deal, until no one has any health problems anymore, and then you can officially say I'm done. Uh, so that's my little intro of myself.
Right. No, I appreciate that. It's always funny being a healthcare professional, because it's that job that you hope is not needed, but it's, you know what I mean? It's like, I wish there's nobody sick, but as we know, because we've been around, it's one of the most,
It's tough.
likely to give you a job field out there.
Mhm.
We know there's always somebody sick, and we are just happy to be able to help those and get them back to their family in one piece.
Absolutely.
So I really do appreciate your approach, and that's very kind.
Thank you
um
much. Appreciate it.
of course. So right now, tell us a little bit about what you are doing, your professional titles.
So professionally, I am a chiropractor. I am working on board certification in neuromusculoskeletal orthopedics. It is, or neuromusculoskeletal medicine is more appropriate.
Okay.
So I do have some extensive training within the profession of chiropractic. I have my master's in public health. I've worked in the public health sector for years, and then decided, it was time for me to become a clinician, so I could help out a lot of the musculoskeletal issues that people face. One of the major issues that we all have to deal with across the board, whether it impacts you directly or indirectly, is musculoskeletal problems. Oftentimes a lot of practitioners just don't have the answers, and they're just trying to figure it out. And people will come into the office and they'll say, "Hey, man, how do I get my body better? I have so much pain. I have these issues and that issue and this, that, and the other." And some people have never, and I really do say this, have never been to somebody who would understand their body on that type of a level. And so to be able to get treatment like that and to see that there's some form of recovery, that's impressive, and it's one of the things that impressed on me. I had been in a motor vehicle accident, and one of my friends was a chiropractor, and I was like, okay, whatever, no big deal. So I ended up going to see him, and he solidified my idea of being holistic, in holistic healthcare, but at the same time, the body has the opportunity to really make an impact on itself and to heal itself and to do those kinds of things. And so it's been a powerful experience for me in seeing how patients respond to the type of treatment that I give. And so whenever I say work myself out of a job, it's how much more can I give to the patient so that they can really walk away not feeling good, but feeling like they have a new body.
Right.
That's the goal every single time. Now, is it realistic? Is it a reality? Absolutely not. Like, come on. There are certain conditions.
We wish. Yeah, we wish.
Yeah, I wish I was a genie in a bottle. You have the three wishes, and one of those three wishes is for you to just be better, period. The honest truth is there are certain situations where we do our best to just get you to your new 100%. And that might be 60%, but that's your new 100. And we're going to try to get you there and keep you there. And hopefully we'll find a solution to get you beyond that point. So that's part of what I do there. I am also working on my MBA in healthcare management, healthcare leadership. And so just working on those type of things there, and then a bunch of other certifications. But that's enough about the education portion of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you had to describe a chiropractor,
So,
yeah.
To describe a chiropractor, you know, the term chiropractic really means done by hand, right? So, a lot of what I do in the office is actually done by hand. It's touching the patient. You'd be surprised how many people do never get touched. I mean, they might get a little tap here and there by their, clinician, but to really, find where the issue is with your hands, to say, okay, here's your problem, and then to define and explain it to them. And I'll give you an example of a condition just so that it makes sense a little bit later. But really, it's spinal manipulation. And some people, when they hear that, they're like, manipulation, like spinal, like, what do you mean? And then they hear the term adjustment. They're like, wait a minute, what's that? Well, those terms are interchangeable with the spinal manipulation and the adjustment. Those two are interchangeable. But really, it's trying to influence the body in such a way that the body will be able to respond appropriately. And when it responds appropriately, that like your tendons, your muscles, your vascularity, your nerves, even all these different things will respond as a part of care. And so, to give you an example, let's say something that's pretty common. So I'll give you a common one, and I'll give you one that's often misdiagnosed, just so that you can have a difference between the two. The first one. Let's say a cervicogenic headache, right? Or let's say a tension type headache. Let's be a little bit. Let's make it a little easier.
Yeah.
So a tension type headache. Say it again.
I said that's a pretty common one.
Very, very common, right?
Yes.
So most people will, say, "Oh my gosh, I have a headache every single day. It's constantly this, that, and the other," right? Now we both know that there's plenty of reasons for a tension type headache. All right. And one of them is the number one killer, which is stress, right? So, some people, it's their head, their head posture leaning forward, that whole deal. So if I can get that to be corrected at some form, right? Even if it's at the muscular level, right? So for those of you who are on Healthcare Boulevard right now, I want y'all to just go ahead. Now keep listening to this podcast, but I want you to type in the trapezius, right? The trapezius muscle.
The trapezius muscle, yeah.
Right. So, that muscle right there can cause headaches. And most people don't even associate, a headache with what people will call the shoulder. Right. And so there are referral patterns that occur in the body. It might be located in one area, but it's referring to a completely different area, which is now causing something else, right? So let's say, for example, you work that trapezius out, right? Like I do a myofascial treatment, right? Or I'll do like a post-isometric relaxation. You guys can Google that, all right? And then all of a sudden, the patient, their range of motion improves. It's better. In the neck, it improves, and then the headache, it gets decreased. Like those are the things that we do directly from a musculoskeletal perspective that can benefit the patient. And I mean, it's immediate, and that is. I mean, that's a powerful thing when somebody who's been dealing with it for so long and never really had a real solution for it.
Right.
Right. So that's an easy one. Now, the more complex one is something like a Main syndrome, also known as a thoracolumbar facet syndrome. Okay. Now, most people are like, what is that? Okay. Well, if you look it up, most people will say, oh, I have sciatic pain. But sciatic pain could be so many different things, but categorized by clinicians who are not aware. But there's so many other things that occur down in the leg, and you have to be specific to the region. And so a thoracolumbar facet syndrome or a Main syndrome, can present as back pain. It can present as buttock pain. It can go all the way down into your leg. And we have to figure out, okay, how do I differentiate the issues that this patient is presenting with from a musculoskeletal perspective so that I can improve their health status? And I can get them, and here's the thing, I may not be able to get you fully out of pain, but if I can get you to a place of functionality, that already improves your quality of life.
Right.
And so really, what is the function or the purpose of a chiropractor? I know I took the long road to get to this answer, but really it's to improve the functionality of your life so that you can live your best, how they love to say, live your best life, but really it's the best quality of life. So there's your answer.
There you go. Thank you. What are
Sure.
the challenges that you face as a chiropractor?
Oh man, the number one challenge, believe it or not, is patient compliance. Now, I know you know everything about that. Patient compliance is like, come on, man. I gave you some exercises, okay? Did you do them?
Yeah.
The other thing too, and you'd be surprised. I should open up my, I guess I would call it the Church of Water. And spread the gospel of water. I would do something like that, because one of the things that I tell my patients all the time, how much water are you drinking every day? And you'd be surprised. People don't like to drink water. Oh, well, I drink coffee and all this. I'm like, no, that's a diuretic. That's not gonna help you. I need you to drink some water. So it's, the patient compliance sometimes can be an issue. The other thing too is, obviously stigma. A lot of times within the profession itself, there's been this struggle, and with the medical profession and chiropractors for years. Okay, and
okay. There you go.
So,
yeah, fine.
And I understand why, but at the same time, it's like the goal is to get people better, and so sometimes when there isn't an understanding of what someone does, we should actually go out and try to find out, to seek to understand before being understood. And so that is very important. Probably beyond that, to be honest with you, I really, I really can't say too much. Maybe, sometimes, you get a little tired, you get a little sore. It's a physical job.
Right.
But I really do enjoy it.
Okay. Now, how long have you been a chiropractor?
So I've been at this for about 5 years now.
5 years. And what would you say are some, if you can compare and contrast chiropractor with PT?
So, and I'm glad you bring that up, because oftentimes, people will say, well, what's the difference between my PT and my chiropractor?
Right.
Okay. So there are some differences. Now, so I'm going to name a few professions that kind of overlap.
Yes,
okay.
Please do.
So you have your OTs, your occupational therapists. Okay. Now, believe it or not, they also overlap with the physical therapist, and they overlap with the chiropractors as well. OTs are specialized, for a specific area. Okay. Like if you've had an accident and all of a sudden, like, you got to rebuild everything, that's your OT. Okay. Your PT is going to give you exercises. They're going to try to get you to function, beyond the problem, try to see if you get better with therapy. So they give you ice, heat, a bunch of different exercises, those kinds of things. So it is part of rehabilitation. Okay. So PT's there. And of course, there's other things that they do as well. Okay. So under that overarching umbrella as well are the chiropractors.
Right.
And so, of course, I fit in that category. And one of the things that we are focused on, spinal care, right? Not just the spine. Everybody thinks that, oh, it's just the spine. That's where you got, no, that's our wheelhouse. Okay. That's where we do the majority of our work. Okay. We want to make sure that your spine is feeling fine. Okay. However, we also work other joints, other muscles. We'll deal with, even sometimes with carpal tunnels, with a double crush syndrome, those kinds of things, disc problems, those kinds of things. So we're trying to work more focused on the neurology and the muscular in the muscular portion of it as well. All right. So now what makes it difficult is that each of these professions, do have some overlap. Okay. But we do have our clear lanes that we do operate in. And sometimes, believe it or not, when a clinician says, hey, I'm sending over a patient to you, they need to come see you, this, that, and the other. And, after evaluating the patient, there are times when I'm like, nah, you need to go see a physical therapist. Like, they're going to be better suited to take care of your problem, right? And then there are other issues where it's like, okay, you got to come see me because I'm going to try to get that joint to really move. I'm going to get in there and, and work that thing out.
Can you give us like a short synopsis of what is needed to call yourself a chiropractor? Like, what are the steps you had to take?
Okay, so I'm going to give you the general. So 4 years of undergrad. Now, of course, it benefits you to do something in health sciences, or at least in the sciences. So your biology, chemistry, physics, biochemistry, within that realm. Right. But you don't have to go that route, right? But you do have to take your basic sciences. Usually, if I'm not mistaken, your basic 4. Just like medical school, you got to take your biology, courses. You got to take your gen chem, your org chemistry, and I believe it's physics, and in some physics, and then in some cases biochemistry. Okay. So I had the opportunity to be a bio major. And I have a bunch of minors just because I don't know. I guess I was all over the place. I have a minor in chemistry, religion, and psychology. So, and believe it or not, all of those together have actually helped me to be able to relate to people a lot better. And that's really what it was about. And then those 4 years, and then you can go directly to chiropractic school if you get in. You're going to spend about 4 years. Some schools are in the quarter system rather than the semester system. Most schools are in the quarter system. So it'll be about 3.5, maybe closer to 4 years. And then you have the option to go into residency. So that's exactly what I've been in, and I've had the opportunity to teach during the residency. So I was teaching orthopedics and orthopedic neurology. And then, you take courses, you take all these, you take a lot of courses dealing with neuromusculoskeletal, because you have to be the expert in that area. So I've had the opportunity to do that. But for my journey, what I did was I did 4 years of undergrad. Actually, I did 5 years. For those of you who are out there,
all those minors, right?
I was enjoying college. Okay,
you had too much fun. That's the problem.
you know what's funny? I was ready to graduate my 4th year. I was getting ready to graduate, and literally, I said to myself, "You know what, man? I'm not ready. I'm not ready to leave college just yet." Who does that? First of all, but I did it by choice. I stayed by choice. That was crazy, but
it is crazy.
But you know what though? That 1 year made a huge difference just in my mindset, because I was like, okay, I'm preparing myself for the next thing. because the first 4 years I hadn't really, even though I was doing the thing, I didn't prepare my mind for it. So, from there, went to California. Loma Linda University is the university there. Yep. And I got my master's in public health, had an opportunity to work for the public health system there. And, I really enjoyed that because, believe it or not, I was a health educator. Health promotion and education was my main focus. Started working on a doctorate there to get my DRPH in public health. Then I realized, you know what? No, I really want to do clinical care, but in a holistic manner. And so applied to chiropractic school, and that's all she wrote. So now I'm just working on the certs and all these other things, and then of course my MBA, and after that we'll see how it goes.
Knowing you probably come up with something else. Okay. It's funny because the last person I interviewed was one of my close friends, and he's Cameroonian. And one of our inside joke is that not likely we'll just end up somehow always being in school because we always come up with something.
Oh my goodness, man. I tell you this, I don't want to be a career student. Okay. I really don't. But the thing is, I think that, for myself, I'm a lifelong learner. If you look at my bookshelf, this year, I slowed down this year, actually, on my reading. But next year, hopefully I'll pick it right back up. But I average about somewhere around like 40 to 60 books a year, and the thing is, it's because, I really want to know. I want to constantly evolve as an individual. And then whatever wisdom I have, if I can put two and two together, then I can impart that wisdom on someone else. And hey, man, you never know. Good conversation is always good when you read a book.
This is true. Okay, so did you end up going to a residency after you finished your chiropractor, and how long was that?
So I was fortunate. It was a new residency. It had been in play for maybe about 3 years. It was developed by one of the professors at the university here in Connecticut. And so, I applied for it, and I was fortunate to get in, and from there, it's been a learning experience. But the greatest experience for me in that residency was being in a community healthcare center, being in that atmosphere in an integrative health center that is federally qualified, and that's big time for me. The reason for that is I get to impact people who never would have seen a chiropractor otherwise. Most people will see chiropractors, when they have a car accident. They're like, oh my gosh, I get this thing, but not understanding that it actually benefits them in so many other areas of their life. So, so that has been the one of the greatest things, and then also teaching as well. That those two things have been excellent for me.
So in your setting right now where you're working, you say it's a community clinic. Is there a different, is that like a setting, or is there a title difference between those who are in working in a setting where it's just chiropractors, or you in a community health?
So really it's a difference in setting. That's one thing, but then you also have to either have the certification in neuromusculoskeletal orthopedics, or you have to be working toward it. So it's the extra certifications, the 300-400 hours or 500 hours in some cases, to get that certification so that you are able to, be recognized as being multifaceted in orthopedics, especially when it comes to neuromusculoskeletal issues. So that's the only difference. But beyond that, it's Dr. Valbrun.
That's it. Okay. So when you are working with different healthcare providers and so forth,
Mhm.
is it usually in a setting where, you know, the patient comes in, have their problem or what have you, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and refer you to a chiropractor? Or is that usually what the setting is, or are you seeing patients who are referred to you by other providers outside of the clinic? How is that setting like?
So because it is a community healthcare center,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, often these patients are seeing their primary care first,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when they're going through, then they'll get, okay, you need to go see the podiatrist, or you need to go see, a dentist for whatever, for your TMJ issue, because we
Mm-hmm.
deal with TMJ issues too. So like, you go there, and so. Uh, it really just depends
Mm-hmm.
uh, on the situation. I'll tell you this, I've had cases where, somebody is coming in with head pain and nobody could figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's like, okay, this person's coming with head pain, but it's not internal head pain, so it's not like, a headache or something like that, or a cerebral vascular experience. It's nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, I have to figure out where exactly the issue is, and you'd be surprised in some cases, you find the issue and it's like, okay, you treat it, and just a few treatments, they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
um, so it really just depends on the situation.
Okay.
Uh, but for the most part, I can't make this up. If they can't figure things out, if people can't figure things out, they send them my way, and I do my best to
To
solve their
figure it
problem.
out. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So what is a typical shift like for you?
Okay. Typical shift. It depends. I could see, so some chiropractors could see, 40 to patients in a day. On average, I'm seeing patients probably around like between 22 to like 30 patients in a day.
Okay.
And the days, well, not during COVID. Like during COVID is a little different. COVID hours are different, but normally I'm there 8 to 6,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going. And if I have a student with me, I'm teaching while I'm treating,
Right.
and so it's nonstop. I
Mhm.
can tell you that patients, they show up for their visit. They
That's yeah.
play those games.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And especially when you're dealing with pain, right? Pain is one of those, it's and when it's there, it's hard for you to not see the providers that you're told will help you. So
Mhm.
and that's another reason why a lot of time a lot of diseases that are present with pain can easily have hard to follow up patients. But if there is pain, they will show up like
Oh,
help me
yes.
out. And that
Hmm.
makes sense. Nobody likes pain. Nobody.
Nobody. Nobody.
You know. um exactly. So I totally get that.
Mhm.
How is work-life balance?
Yeah, that is always going to be the struggle.
Yeah.
For those individuals who are entrepreneurs, and what I mean by that is you own your own practice or you have your own practice. Okay, you're in private practice. Everything rises and falls on you. It's a completely different animal than when you're working in a center like how I'm working, and I don't have to worry about the overhead and all that other stuff. I
Right.
don't have to worry about that. Okay, but even then, it's still somewhat of a struggle because if you're tired, man, you're really tired. If you're waking up early in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure that your knowledge is staying, on it, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And even making sure that you're on top of notes
Mm-hmm.
and other things. For some providers, it's like click, 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 and you're good, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, but when you really have some serious cases
Right.
where there's a problem for everything and you have to document it all,
Mm-hmm.
it really does get extensive, and so that can also be fatiguing.
Mm-hmm.
I think as healthcare providers, the one thing that we have to manage well is mental fatigue, because it's a constant. I mean, unless you're on autopilot, you really have to be on top of it, and you got to make sure that your well-being is good. That your physical self is good, so that you can do the job and do the job effectively. So work-life balance can be a struggle sometimes. It can be a struggle. But at the end of the day, I know that the listeners on here on Healthcare Boulevard can handle it.
There you go. He's bringing it back to you. What is the growth opportunity for a chiropractor?
It really depends on what you want to do, what you want to specialize in. There are chiropractors who specialize in dealing with pregnant women. Okay. And they use the technique, the Weber technique. Okay. And that is what they really focus on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow.
There are chiropractors, who deal with sports. Okay. And believe it or not, it's different. It's the same body, but the approach is completely different. So somebody who deals with sports and athletes, high impact type injuries, you specialize in that, and there's good opportunities there. Some chiropractors, not some, but there are chiropractors who work for your local sports team. Okay. And so some quick advice for those who want to get into that. If you are thinking about becoming a chiropractor and you want to work in sports, go to your local sports team. Work with AAA baseball or the hockey team that's nearby. Those are things that will get you in, and you get to see those injuries, man. They pile up fast. And I tell you, especially athletes, when you work on them and they get better, they are very appreciative, because it's the difference between, that, $100,000 contract.
That's their livelihood. Yeah, that's their livelihood. Yeah.
So imagine now you've grown your practice, you've grown what you do. They take you along with them. So there's that too. And I mean, there's so many others too. Like if you want to get into healthcare, even healthcare administration, depending on the situation, there are franchises that are out there, and you might be the one running, these different offices. So it really depends on your entrepreneurial spirit. You have to have that mindset. You can be an associate, you can work for somebody, and that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But you have to understand that, you have to have an entrepreneurial spirit, mindset when you come into a profession like this one.
And what's for you personally, what are some of your future professional aspirations?
Well,
what do you want to be when you grow up is what I'm asking you.
That's really interesting. Well, I would love to be at the helm of a large healthcare organization, right? So I would love to do that, and to be able to impact the many, improve the lives of the many, and to try to provide care to underserved individuals. It's one of the reasons why I'm in a community healthcare center now, because those are the people that, believe it or not, I grew up with. And I want to make sure that they get the best care they can, so that their lives can be better, and it's not just in pain and they can't afford it and all this other stuff. I want to make sure that they're well impacted, and so I believe that working in healthcare administration in some form of leadership, I'll be able to do that through policy and through organizational development and those kinds of things. But as the clinician in me, wants to get down and dirty,
Mm-hmm.
wants to get down into the trenches and help people and help them get better.
Mm-hmm.
So so to answer your question, we're still figuring it out, But the one thing for sure is that impacting my patients' lives,
Mm-hmm.
impacting the lives of others is what I will be doing.
All right. How do you cope with stress and burnout in the profession?
Oh man, you know, I am I'm a spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Christian. That's what I believe. And so just prayer and meditation, man. Just taking some time out to just think. Just to think. Working out. I and of course, my wife, just spending time with her and just talking and just being together, being with each other. So those are all things. And I'll tell you this: going to the beach will do a lot for you.
I
Even
second that.
even if it's freezing cold outside, just going for a nice, brisk walk at the beach. No leaves on the trees, or whether there's leaves on the trees, just go. That really just sets the tone for a lot of things. So those
Mhm.
are some ways I'm able to cope.
Okay. And what do you do for fun?
Oh man, I have a lot of hobbies, which is good and bad. I'm a musician as well. I grew up
Okay.
as a musician since about the age of 7. So sometimes it's just practicing, just to get my mind clear.
Is it vocal or do you play any instruments?
So I sing if you need it. I play the saxophone,
Okay.
but most of the time I'm playing bass, my bass guitar.
Okay.
So yeah, so I do that, and I'll get called for gigs and stuff like that. So sometimes I'll go out and play. Obviously not with COVID, but like yeah, we'll do that. And I do like going on hikes. Believe it or not, I'll go out and do 5 miles without breaking a sweat. Like I have no problem doing that at all.
That's what's
Um, maybe now that I'm getting, the COVID weight is hitting different. But,
He'll get you. He'll get you.
but yeah, I can't really complain too much. There's others, but reading, of course, and
All
then yeah.
right. Okay.
Mhm.
And last but not least, what are some words of advice you may have for anybody who wants to be a chiropractor?
Well, definitely go to your chiropractic office.
Mm-hmm.
Find somebody in your area. I would personally, I would go to maybe 2 or 3 different offices in your area if you know some people, and introduce yourself and say, hey, can I shadow?
Mm-hmm.
You know, can I shadow for the next month? Dedicate some time so you can actually see what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
because at least then you'll kind of say, okay, well, I kind of see what it is they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing you don't want to do is go into a situation and not fully understand,
Mm-hmm.
not fully know or have an idea of what the profession is or isn't.
Mm-hmm.
um, and then ask these people as many questions as you can, uh, because it is going to impact you. Like it may not be the same experience, but at least you're able to share and figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
And that would make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other thing that I would say is, if uh, if you really want to do well in the profession, make sure that you understand your anatomy well. I'll just say that, because yeah, I'll just leave it there.
That's fair. That's fair. If you're like me and you have a hard time with anatomy, what he's saying is don't do it.
That's not at all what I'm saying. No, that's funny. No, I'll tell you this. You know what? I'll tell you this. Um, you know what? Anatomy is not as hard as you think. It's not as hard as you think. It just depends on who's teaching and how they're teaching it to you.
Fair.
You know,
That's
and
fair.
then of course, I mean, you gotta do the work, right?
Yes, and I think some professions is just really, because for me, anatomy, I utilize anatomy in my work, but not as much as you would, right?
Yeah,
Because
so,
I'm looking at everything across the board, from neuro to GU to GI to everything. Whereas you, MSK is your willpower. So you're using that every day. So for me, when I learn it, and then I learn anatomy, I mean MSK, and then you move me from MSK to cardio to pump and everything, and then you bring it back to MSK, and I'm like, what muscle was that again?
right. What does this thing do? You know, oh man, you'd be surprised. Even some of my students, when I come in there and I ask them a question, and you see the glaze on their face, I'm like, oh no, don't do that, don't do that. You know, I'm like, answer
Like
the
none
question.
of my what?
Oh no, oh not at all, not at all.
Oh my goodness. But no, I really do appreciate it. That is all the questions I have for you today. If you don't have anything else to add, we are going to go ahead and end this here.
No problem. You know, the one thing I will add is thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast. And hopefully this will impact somebody's life. I know being here on Healthcare Boulevard, that you are making a difference in somebody's life, and that is a powerful thing.
Thank you. And thank you for helping me do that. I appreciate you taking the time, and you actually were very kind and easy to get in touch with and plan this with. I really appreciate that. Go ahead and have some fun. I'm sure you have some book to read, as you do.
Not tonight.
I'll think about what the next degree is you're going to obtain.
Oh, no.
All right, Dr. Babram, thank you so much and have a beautiful evening.
You too. Have a good night.
Bye. All right, I'm back. And the answer to today's question is, wait for it, drum rolls, it's B, United States of America. With 75,000 chiropractors in the U.S., the United States is the country with the highest number of chiropractors. The runner-up is Canada, and third place is United Kingdom, and fourth place is Australia. Those four countries hold the most number of chiropractors in the world. They are also the countries who first established chiropractor education program, so it sort of makes sense. But yeah, thank you again, and again, share, listen to you're listening on it, whatever podcast. Yeah, no, but I'm not gonna do that. Cheers. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you. Please subscribe, follow, like, comment, and share. And stay blessed. Bye.